Okay, Jose Monkey, where am I?
You asked me to figure out where this video was recorded, so I did. Hi, I'm Jose Monkey, and I find people who ask to be found. I like to think of what I do here with these videos as a silly but hopefully informative game. And I appreciate that people like to challenge me by showing me tricky locations that they think that I might not be able to find. But sometimes I worry that you guys think I'm like dunking on people when I find them.
I mean, you kinda are though, right? Because they're out here like, oh, yo, I bet you can't find me, Jose Monkey. And you're like, oh yeah, I bet I can. Boom!
Yeah, it's usually not like that though. Generally speaking, I feel like it's all in good fun, and I don't feel a need to like put anybody down or taunt them when I find them.
Okay, but what about this person though? Bro's in the comments talking all sorts of trash. Like, oh, I bet you never find this.
Let's take a look at the video.
Okay, Jose Monkey, where am I?
So what can we see? The video opens with a view of this lovely parking lot, so thank you for that. And then this person appears on camera asking to be found. I noticed that they're wearing a hat with what appears to be a Canadian maple leaf on it, but that seemed too easy. Surely someone who taunted as much as this person did wouldn't give me such an obvious clue. Right? I also noticed that this person had their hand on their chest. I don't know if they were trying to like block something that was on their shirt or what. I guess they needed one hand to hold the camera and another to block their shirt, and they didn't have a third hand to cover up their hat. Anyway, as they turn the camera, we can see this lot once again, and I notice these large barrels surrounding the lot. We can also see some plants, possibly vines, growing in carefully planted rows here. All of that suggested to me that this was very likely a vineyard. They turn the camera back in the other direction, and we can see some trees, and then a flagpole with a Canadian flag. Next we see some flowers in a raised bed, and they keep turning, and we see this building with columns near what I assumed was an entrance. They turn a bit more, and we can see a sculpture here, which appears to be a woman carrying baskets. I'll come back to that. Then they turn the camera all the way back around, showing us mostly the same stuff, but we see a few more details. We've got this building across the parking lot, which has something written on it which I could not read, and then off in the distance we see a fairly distinctive looking building. And that's about it. Okay, so my first thought was that this sculpture might be something that I could look for. So I googled sculpture of woman carrying baskets and checked out the image results. And I quickly got a result that looked right, but that's when I realized that this is not a unique sculpture at all. This is apparently a very common design, possibly a replica of an ancient Greek statue, but I couldn't verify that. And there are a variety of sites willing to sell you one just like it for your garden.
Yo, what's up with that description? Sus.
Anyway, once I realized that this Wish.com sculpture wasn't going to be very helpful, I decided to use Occam's razor and go with the most obvious conclusion here. This looks like a vineyard, and it's probably in Canada. I figured this person was probably touring this vineyard. So I googled Canadian vineyard tour, and right away I got an image result that looked like the building that we see off in the distance. Of course, when I clicked through on that, I got an article that didn't even appear to show that photo, so that was kind of annoying. But it didn't really matter because Google showed me several photos of the same place, and one of them linked to an article that identified this as Two Sisters Vineyard. And guys, that was it. You are here at the Riverbend Inn and Vineyard in Niagara-on-the-Lake in Ontario, Canada. So the building we see is Two Sisters Vineyard, but you were just a bit east of there. I confirmed the spot using Google Street View. Here's that nearby building across the parking lot. And here's our basic basket girl sculpture. Which means that you were standing right over here, on this spot that surely I could never find. Well, except the part where it took me like under 20 minutes to find this, and that's including the time I spent looking for that silly sculpture.
Ha! Got him.
But I digress. Okay, it's time to check which previous location was closest to this one. And this time it was one of the places I found during that live lightning round that I did last year, and the location was in St. Catharines, Ontario. That's only about 13 kilometers or 8 miles away from this spot. Guys, go check out the map of all the places I found for you so far from the videos you've sent me. And if you happen to be doing any shopping for Prime Day, maybe go check out my Amazon storefront, because many of the shirts that you see me wearing in these videos are on sale right now. And if anybody else wants me to find them, record a video where you say, "Find me, Jose Monkey," or something like that, on camera, or hold up a sign that says something similar. And don't forget to tag me in a comment on that video.
Come on, doesn't it feel sort of good to dunk on people, especially when they kind of deserve it?
That is the path to the dark side, my friend.
Well, just call me Darth Chaticus then, because the haters make me stronger.
So uncivilized.